Your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS.
Hey, welcome to the show. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I got to get my our headset put together. Hey, we're here every week this time talking about your family's finances. Oh, gosh. Have you seen the markets lately going a little crazy? Trying to keep you, out of debt, planning for the future, keeping yourself focused. You know, anybody who, who works in the stock market world is going to keep telling you things like, stay with it, don't panic. Please stay the course. Now, why do you think that? Why do you think when the market's at all-time highs, they're telling you not to sell? While you're thinking about it, how about, they only get paid when your money's at risk. Did you know that? I'm sure they're great people, wonderful, God-fearing men and women, and love puppy dogs and walks in the park. Those are all great things. But why is it that when your money is at risk, that's the only time they can be paid? To me, that seems like there's a problem. I think if a reformation is to come in the industry, that's a good place to start. How about they should make money if you make money? If we're going to go at risk, if we're going to play this risk game, wouldn't it be nice if the financial companies only made money if you made money? Now, before you say things like, well, Arif, I only pay $35 a year. So, well, that's interesting. Not true, but interesting. Oh, no, I know, but you don't understand. My financial person is also my accountant, and I've known them for 32 years, and they told me it's $45 a year, and I get a guarantee of 6%. Doesn't exist. Now, you might say, well, that's error. Well, yeah, I know, but you don't know. Not true. You have to realize your financial life needs to be focused on the truth. And then if everything is fine, if you like your money at risk, go for it. If you don't, well, now you know. But at least be given the facts so that you can make the decisions that are right for you and your family. Very important. Well, thanks for joining us, the Total Financial Hour. I'm Arif Halaby. That's Logan Halaby. We're talking about your family's finances. This is AM 1220, FM 98.1, your KHTS hometown station. All right, listen, why do I think you have to lower your expectations if you were expecting a pension? It used to be, especially if you came from a lower income family or a family that really relied on the government, right? That's the left and the right. The left says bigger government can solve problems. The right says lower government is the answer, right? Remember Ronald Reagan's famous speech? Government is not the answer to the problem. It is the problem. Boy, did everybody freak out. Nobody's ever heard that before. Jimmy Carter came along and said, don't worry, the government can solve that, can solve this, can solve that. And when that new mindset came along, wow, people were surprised. That hadn't been said for a very long time. Of course, you're going to have your political views, whatever they are. I'm not going there. What I'm saying is, if you would think that more government involvement in your pension plan is a good idea, see, if you were lower middle income before, you used to say, just get a job with the county. Just get a job with the city, right? And if you're in LA, Los Angeles, your goal in life, if you grew up in a not so financially successful family, was to get a job with the city. Benefits, get my benefits. I have a pension plan, health insurance, right? Is it just me? Because that's what the rule was. It's what I heard. It's what I did. So a lot of people went through that process. Today I'm telling you, if you are expecting a pension in the next 10 years or so, please lower your expectations. The only way that they can deliver on these promises, the only way, is to either completely collapse the system, and I'm leaning that that's going to be the direction, or they have to completely change it. Now, none of you that are expecting a pension want to change it because you like the goodies. You're like, I think we should change it for those new hired people, for those new people, those young people. Logan, your generation, you guys should get a lower pension.
It's called pension envy, where we do the same job just because the new person signed in at the wrong time. Suddenly, they're not getting the same wages. The equal pay for equal work isn't really the thing anymore here, huh?
Oh, I think that's going to be used against you, folks. If you think equal pay for equal work, how about equal pension for equal work? Now, remember, there's only two ways to be the biggest building in town. You either have to build yours taller or stay the same and don't grow and make everybody else come down. That's the only way to be the biggest building in town. It's the same thing financially, same thing with your character. You want to make and be of better character? The gossip and the envy needs to stop, and you need to work on yourself. It's the same thing with your financial life. If you think that you're going to expect some sort of pension increase, financially speaking, the only way it's going to work is for you to take care of yourself and your family. That means saving, getting out of debt, stop buying things that go down in value every single year, and focus on things that go up in value, or, surprise, pay off debts. Stay away from crazy spending like student loans. You've heard me talk about that. Oh, I don't know, for all 14 plus years that I've been on the air. Ask people today, 14 years ago, let's just do the math. Somebody was 12 years old. 12 years old. Little kid running around. Today they are 16. Now at 16 years old, 16, 14, and 26. It's a new math. 26. At 26 years old, they're already starting to make student loan payments if they did what they were supposed to go to college. Now you tell me at 26 years old, the student loan payments, do you think you got your money's worth?
If you're one of the smaller percentage of people who are able to work in their industry and that was really your education was the key to that high-paying job, then it might have been worth it. But how many people with a bachelor's degree or higher are working somewhere that is paying minimum wage?
Well, look at it today. 30% of Americans with degrees are even working in their career field. The other 70% aren't even working in the field in which they earn their degree. That should be shocking to you. Then all of a sudden you may not be choosing the university because it specializes in your degree, because you're not going to end up working in that field anyway, statistically speaking. So let's plan and prepare to protect you and your family. Let the crazies on both sides scream and yell and do their thing. But you and your family have to protect yourself. All right, so what is pension envy? When we say pension envy, we're talking about the push by the folks that are going to be receiving pensions. They see the writing on the wall. They know there aren't enough people coming on board. They know that more and more people are retiring. I've got some numbers for you in just a second. Just in January, that there just isn't enough money. So they're saying, no problem, don't touch mine, but that new person that just got hired, let's fix their pension. Let's reduce it.
And this is resulting in people having the same work, like we mentioned earlier, and drastically different results when it comes to retirement. Might have to work longer, with smaller benefits, nothing is attractive, some of the other perks are going away, and it's really creating a tiered class system within the workforces.
15,000 people retired in January from the federal government. 15,000. So you might say, well, of course, 15,000, that's people retire all the time. No, but do you understand that they leave the world of paycheck, right? So they're no longer collecting a pay, so their higher pay is reduced. That's good for government debt. But on the other side, do you understand their pension now has to be the one that's giving them their income? So in other words, there's two bank accounts. One from the federal government, your taxpayer, your tax dollars, my tax dollars. As they start to reduce the folks that are taking money out of there, good, okay, let's reduce the employees. We shouldn't have as many employees in the federal government. Maybe we're going to be reducing that number, fine, with attrition. But what about the folks? What about the folks that are retiring? 15,000 people. They're going to have to get their pay from somewhere, their pension. And where do you think they get it from? They receive it from the pension fund. And there isn't enough money to make the pension fund work. There just isn't. 15,000 people. Think about this for a second. President Trump also cut 13,000 jobs in the month of January. If they cut 28,000 jobs between people that retired and jobs that were cut, how many people do you think actually work there? I mean, do you understand it? Now, listen, everybody, there's lots of people in the federal payroll. There's health inspectors, for plants. There's FDA. There's Center for Disease Control. You've got all sorts of people and folks getting a paycheck from the federal government, air traffic controllers. I get it. But if 28,000 jobs can go away and your life and my life really isn't impacted, how many people do you think actually work for the federal government? It's a big deal. Go ahead, Lo.
It's a much higher number than most people would think of. And the difference with a federal employee versus someone who works for a business is a lack of productivity. Having poor health codes or something like that where it's not being implemented properly is a negative. But once you reach a certain point, adding 5 more health inspectors or whatever field you want doesn't add anything to the economy.
No. Look, the Wall Street Journal reports 2.7 million people work for the federal government. 2.7 million people. 28,000 is a drop in the bucket. When you look at Caltrans, the state of California, there's between 2,000 and 3,000 people doing jobs that are duplicated. In other words, if we eliminated those positions and or either through attrition, right, because nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings and fire somebody, it's now called being laid off, you're just going to kind of let them absorb into the system. Instead of going through and saying, hey, listen, you're not performing. Hey, we've seen you on the side of the road watching 6 people dig a hole and you've just been a supervisor, right? How many times have you seen that? 3 people watching one guy dig a hole. And you say, oh, well, no wonder we're spending 4 times the amount of money to dig a hole, right? Whatever. If that is the case, those dollars that could be going into your pension fund for CalPERS, CalSTRS, CalPARS, right, the California pension system, instead are being used to hire Eric Holder to fight the government, a sanctuary city, to hire an entire team of attorneys to fight the federal government because they don't like the wall. Tough luck. Next time, vote for somebody else. I mean, that's the way it goes. I didn't like the last election, and you didn't see me crying on the street corner. You didn't see any conservatives burning down anything, crying in any corner. Why? What's the difference? I think because you have to realize that 1 + 1 is 2. Whether you like it or you don't. Whether you're passionate about 1 + 1 being 6, it's still 2. Whether you want to wear a funny hat and a shirt that says what, it's 1 + 1 is 2, guys. And your family has to build and plan accordingly. Otherwise, what will happen is these 2.7 million people that work for the federal government will retire, will get a pension. How about how many people work for the state of California government? Oh, that's an interesting number.
It's, a lot higher than you would think it would make sense. And the duplicate jobs there, just in any group, is going to be a lot more than you really like when you're the one paying for it.
Yeah, the dollars have to come from somewhere. You understand that the dollars don't just come out of air. You have to have productivity. That means they have to make a widget for $1, sell it for $2. So what is part of the pension plan process? In my opinion, because we're spending money we shouldn't, because more people are retiring than ever before, just because of numbers, right? They're at that age. As the baby boomer wave starts to go through. The folks that the governments, county, city, state, and federal hired after the Vietnam War, they gave preference to veterans. So you could come back from the war and have a job as a mail carrier or a police officer or a firefighter. You had preference as long as you qualified otherwise. And those folks now, if you do the math backwards, it's 30, 35 years. They're now in a position to say, now I am ready to retire. Just a normal thing. And then there are others that are finally saying, listen, it's time for me to move on and do something different. State of California, you ready for this number? 883,000 people work for the state of California. 883,000, and that's by governing.com. How about something that's kind of important when you look at the amount of folks that are retiring? I think you're going to start to see as the wave moves through, they leave the California state budget and they go over to the pension fund. In other words, they're not being paid from the left pocket anymore. They're being paid from the right. And if you were paying attention in the last few days, what happened to the stock market? Did it go up? Now listen, last year it's gone crazy, year and a half. I get it. But we've been telling you, take some of your winnings off the table. I don't know how much, a year's worth of your salary, 5 years, 7 years, you pick the number. Whatever you think you're going to need. Because if you're one of those thousands, tens of thousands of people that are retiring this year, and they're going to be cutting back your pension, and you want to still live the same way, you're going to have to be taking money from your retirement accounts to live. And if you think that your accounts are up so high and they can't go lower, look at 2008. How many minutes did it take for us to go down 900 points? 10 minutes. And if you are in mutual funds, you cannot get out of the market. You don't get to call your broker and say, hey, sell. He goes, hey, we can't do anything until 1 o'clock. Right? Because that's the way it works. And let's say you are Mr. and Mrs. Stock Trader, ETF trader. That's fine. But understand this. You call your broker, and your broker says, you're important, but not as important as the person who has $2 million or $10 million with me. So I'll get to your request, but it'll take a little bit. I'll call you back. Right? Because that's the way it works. So in your process of understanding where and how your financial, life is supposed to be, realize that the pension system may not be there for you the way you think.
And an additional complication that's going to be happening here with the pensions is when you retire and you're not on the state payroll anymore, your funds are coming from the pension fund. But that job still has to be done. So now there's two people being paid for that same job. If you're only working there for 10 or 20 years, given the life expectancies we have today, that person who replaced you could be retiring while you're still collecting too.
You realize that the Department of Motor Vehicles, another state job, you work there for 10 years and you get a pension. 10 years. So a lot of people will quit their first job. They go there for their second. They check their watch. They check it again at 10 years and 10 minutes and they bail. Now maybe the pension is only $500 or $600 a month. But when you add that to the other pensions, how about Department of Water and Power? If you're in the city of LA, look at your rates. Did they go down or up? The city government takes money from the Department of Water and Power every year. It says, how much money do you have in that account? Great, give us some so we can balance our budget. They're not telling Department of Water and Power, go ahead and put it into your pension just so you can be really sure, just so you can double check. And as more and more people are moving into solar or they're doing their energy efficient things they're supposed to be doing, right, with water, what happens to the bills? You will pay the same amount, but you will use less money. Why? Because the benefits, the pension, and the pay of those utilities doesn't go down. And those when there's less people paying because your neighbor has an amazing solar system they got hoodwinked into doing for $500 a month or whatever these silly lease payments are. Boy, you'll hear that in the next 6 months or a year, some of the tricks that were done there. But everybody thinks that they have to work more to make the same amount of money. So protect yourself. All right? Let me give you some numbers here. This is kind of important. The elementary and secondary education. How many millions? 23 billion. 26 billion, sorry, 26 billion. $26 billion goes into education. How many of my teacher clients want to take 36 students instead of 30? And then take a look at the amount of money that's being paid to the administrators who never step foot in a class. There are some of these districts that are so top-heavy with administrators. You want to do something creative, go to transparentcalifornia.com. Transparentcalifornia.com. You can type in either the government entity, so the school district, the county, city job, whatever, or you can type in the person, and you can see how much they are paid and how much their benefits are. You've heard me rail against College of the Canyons when the top 5-10 people make millions of dollars. And it's College of the Canyons. Oh, we need more government aid from the state to pay for students. How about you just give some of your money back? You can't live on $20,000 a month. You got to live on $25,000. Oh wait, sorry, you just got a pay raise. You can't live on $25,000 a month. You got to live on $32,000 a month. Why is that okay? Oh, but my pension. How about you just donate? Oh, I got an idea. $10,000 to every month. Pick something. Child development, nursing, automotive repair. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that show that you and Mr. and Mrs. Administrator of our local community college would get off your fanny and actually say, well, we're in an air conditioning office and we're wearing 3-piece suits and we have a conference in Vegas and a conference in San Diego and a conference in Tahoe and we just have to learn more. How about you stop making $24,000 a month, fourth down from the top administrator? Oh, wait, you need that to live on. And you have a single mother of 2 kids who's working 2 jobs, who sleeps in a spare bedroom. And that's not a small story, folks. You can close your eyes and throw a rock and probably hit 6 people that fit that profile. And yet you still think it's okay to make $30,000 a month in your pension. I get it. That $50, parking permit. Ooh, let's raise parking so we can build a structure. Let's hurt those students even more. You guys, come on, man. Everybody, the ship is sinking, and everybody's trying to grab the vase, and then you got the chair, and then some of you wrapped up the bedspread from the suite, and you're running out the back door, and you say, "Forget everybody else." Well, surprise! I hope your pension suffers. I hope they go to you and say, "It's not $30,000 a month anymore. Hurt me, you're going to have to live on 22. 22. Can you do it? Can you do it with your Newport Beach condo?" Diane, you know who I'm talking about. We'll take a break and come right back. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby. That's Logan Halaby. On your place for news, talk, and information, this is AM 1220 and FM 98.1. Thanks for being with us.
Your building sign is essential in getting customers to your location. Feathers can help get your business noticed. They walk you through each phase of your building sign project, providing special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will give you a sign you can be proud of. Your building sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Feathers on Soledad in Canyon Country, across from the Edwards Theater. Or go to feathersphoto.com. That's feathersphoto.com.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
Satisfy your sweet tooth with a bite of sweet perfection from Nothing Bundt Cakes in Valencia. Their decadent cakes are ideal for your next birthday, anniversary, baby shower, wedding, holiday party, and more. Nothing Bundt Cakes makes their treats readily available without compromising quality. You can expect real butter and cream cheese, fresh eggs, and lots of love in each of their 10 luscious flavors. To order your own sweet treat, visit their Valencia Bakery in the Whole Foods Shopping Center or log on to nothingbundcakes.com.
Santa Clarita's hometown station.
Now FM 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
This is your place for news, talk, and information, your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hey, welcome back to the show, the Total Financial Hour. I'm Arif Halaby, your place for news, talk, and information. Hope you'll learn something on the last rant. Listen, our job is to not confuse you, but it's to get you involved, right? Everybody's so upset that a president that's 3,000 miles away will say something stupid. Oh, hurt my feelings. How about just fix the stinking economy? Oh, wait, he's on track to do that. All right, listen, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be his neighbor. I don't want to be his spiritual advisor. Just fix the economy. Fix the border. Fix the problems. I don't know how much you can get done in 4 years, but fix stuff. Oh, he said stuff about women. Oh, really, Harvey Weinstein? Oh, really? I don't know. You pick the actor, Matt Lauer, Mr. What would be a good term? The stalwart, the man who reports the problems of America. Especially conservatives. Listen, there's dogs on both sides, you guys. You better protect your family's finances because nobody else is going to. You understand that? Nobody else is going to. I don't care if it's your boss. I don't care if it's the government. These people are not going to take care of you. You have to. All right, here we go. Chancellor, $411,000 total pay and benefits. Oh, sorry. That was 2016, so I don't even know what the new numbers are. We're coming up on $40,000 a month. Not quite. Not quite. Maybe this year we're at $40,000 a month. Barry's at $25,000 a month. Barry, that's a lot of money. I'm sure you're worth it. Diane, yeah. A little over $20,000 a month. These are lots of money, guys. Listen, these are all wonderful people. I like them. They say hi. At least they used to say hi to me. I like them. I don't think they're bad people. But what I'm saying is this is a government tax-payer institution. When you have a taxpayer institution, you cannot just pay market wages. It's not like Amazon. They make a product for $1, they sell it for $3. There's a profit. Everybody's happy. How do we measure the growth? How do we measure the performance? Well, you take a look at the math. Did we sell more widgets this year than last year? But when you have a student that graduates, that's wonderful. They're making society better. You can't touch this outside thing and just say that, oh, well, see, just trust me. In 15 years, we'll know if we did a good job or not. Well, then I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a check and post-date it for 15 years. And you get to cash that in 15 years. And if not, hey, I'm going to pull the check. Or you're not willing to do that, but you're willing to tell us, trust me. I'll let you know if I did a good job in 15 years. Logan, you had a comment about the janitor. I don't know the number. I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. But folks that work in the janitorial services, just to see what their particular pay is.
You have to skip all the way down to page 10 out of 50 to find the pay for the janitors and the custodians, the groundskeepers. They're pulling in over $80,000 a year.
You guys want a job? Remember the poor janitor at your elementary school? Yeah, go get a job somewhere or at your community college. $75,000 to $80,000 a year plus. Listen, these are not bad people. I'm going to tell you that because some of you are going to jump there and you're going to give me hate mail. I get it. Especially, there's a little active left-wing progressive group that is just full of so much hate, it's ridiculous. These are good people. They work hard. But who is going to pay for this? You think rich people are? Who do you think moves out of California? It's not poor people, you guys. Let's just think logic. Forget anything else. 1 + 1 is 2. Who do you think can afford to buy a house somewhere else? Is it poor people, middle class, or rich people? I'll answer that for you. It's probably richer people. The middle class are forced to move out because they can't afford to keep a house here and there. But rich people move their businesses out. And they're the ones that hire people and pay taxes. So you can be angry, you can stomp your foot, but unless you think the government is the answer to keep giving you pay, California is bankrupt. On paper, we are done. There is no money. We have to go back and tax people again. Illinois has just basically hit a default. Detroit, done. Rhode Island, remember a few years ago they filed bankruptcy. Stockton, California, done. Mammoth Lakes, San Bernardino, done. And we can go on and on. Small cities and counties up in Northern California have had major financial issues where they cannot contribute anymore to the pensions. In fact, CalPERS are starting to default even more and sending default notices to different individual cities and counties because there just isn't enough money. And instead of the state of California coming behind and saying, hold your horses, we're going to help. Instead, they just come out and say, well, tough luck. And who do you hurt the most? At the beginning, it looks like the employees at the state level are getting all the goodies. But at the end, they've built a financial life counting on one thing, that paycheck coming in. And when you're not a good steward of it, state of California, Democrat governor, legislature, right? When you're not a good steward of the money, you will let those people down. The ones who still have 10 or 15 years to retirement. They're the ones that hurt. It's sad. Go ahead, Luke.
And a big long-term effect of this is going to be when these people collect their pensions and then they realize that either they can live here but not very well, or they can move to many other states and have the same life or even better when it comes to their financial life. suddenly what happens to those pension dollars? They're still coming out of the state of California, being paid to them and every month in their pocket. But the income taxes, the economic spending, that's not happening around here anymore. And that's going to be benefiting other states. And
well, look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 custodians that are earning more than $90,000 a year. The top 2 are more than $100,000 a year. Because, okay, listen, that's great. I'm happy for them. Their kids get a chance to go to college and they drive a nice car. I get it. But it's different when you are a small business owner and you employ 6 people and you can't make that when the economy's bad. You're taking on a lot of risk. Folks, if you are counting on a state, city, county pension, plan accordingly. I don't know if the number's 75% of it, 80%. But when you speak like I did to the governor's budget director, and he had no clue how messed up the wage system is, meaning I said, oh, Governor, or to the budget director, I said, do you understand that there's a problem here? He said, well, we had 1.8 million jobs that were lost in the Great Recession, and the governor is proud to announce that 1.9 million have been created under his, and everybody clapped. We were in a room for about 30 people, clap. I said, well, are you aware of a website called howmoneywalks.com? He said, no. I said, well, it reports data. The IRS doesn't care. It's not left or right. It doesn't care where you live because you pay the same federal taxes whether you live in Maine or Washington or California or Oregon. It doesn't matter, okay? So it says, yesterday or last year, this person paid tax at 91355. Next year, the person pays tax at 71604, whatever that is, but outside of California. So they just report the data. There's a plus, there's a minus. That person is moving. The wages are coming or going. And we were at $59 billion backwards. $59 billion upside down. And he says, well, I'm not even aware that data exists. I said, those are the wages that spend money at the grocery store and the dry cleaner and the restaurants. Those are the wages that are taxed. And they're gone. So we have to build an economy on attracting people. State of Virginia put this out. This is kind of interesting. State of Nestle, right? Some of you see the big building off of the 2 freeway in Glendale. Nestle, last year when it was hit with another fine, after, like we were going to be hit again, we all got hit again. I believe it's about $200 a month. Sorry, $200 a year per employee. So if you work for a place, they have to pay about $200 per employee for the privilege of hiring you to the state of California as a penalty because the state of California didn't pay its federal taxes last year. First it was $150, then Toyota left. They said, "You kidding me? We have thousands of employees. We're leaving. We're not paying. We're not going to do this again. California, you're not getting any better." So they left. Next time, it was Nestle. So last spring, when Nestle was confronted with another $175 or so per employee, they said, "We're leaving." So Virginia, right? Who wants to live in Virginia? It's beautiful like 3 months out of the year, spring and fall, but it's cold and it's hot and humid and the bugs are big. But Virginia says, Nestle will give you a building, 10 years no taxes, and we'll allow you to move. We'll pay for some of your moving. And they did. Nestle said, "We're out of here, Glendale." Beautiful building. I think they filled the entire building. And they left, and they're leaving, and they're gone. Big, important process because every state, Texas, Nevada, Virginia, even Michigan is trying to recruit people with no taxes. Northern New York is, upstate New York, doing the same thing, trying to come to California. Look around. Every single week, there's representatives from one part of the country or another to come and try to woo businesses into leaving, especially when California now says that, right? One of these, oh my gosh, you guys, you can't make this stuff up. One of the far left progressive guys in the state legislature says, the way that we're going to combat this tax problem is we're going to go to all the businesses, see what their savings are under the new Trump tax plan, because it affected a lot of folks saved money, a lot of businesses did, and we're going to take half of that back as a penalty, as a fee. Are you insane? Are you going to try to chase these people out with a pitchfork in one hand and a broom in another hand? Because they're not going to come back. But the state of California says, oh, we got an idea. This is brilliant. And in a room full of other people that make $200,000 a year, and they all look at each other and they said, Jimmy, that's a great idea. No, it's a brilliant idea. Jimmy, we're gonna force those businesses. And in the same boardroom across the hall, the businesses are going to say, all right, so which state do we want to go see today? Texas or Nevada? Arizona? One of my favorite things ever, when you hear these far left business owners. Elon Musk. Where did he put his gigafactory? Anybody know?
Not California.
Carson City, Reno, Nevada, just over the border. So what does he do? Built his factory, hired all of those people, and then he trucks it right back over the border. It's actually less money to do that. One of the largest coffee roasters in the nation, certainly on the West Coast, huge coffee roaster, couldn't work out a deal with California. So what did they do? They bring their beans in from the harbor. They built a factory. I want to say it's in Arizona. So they truck the raw beans, I guess that's the word, across California. They go to Arizona. They roast them, and they drive them back to California because they distribute them here as well. And they did the math. And the math said this cost us less money than paying all the crazy fines, fees, and regulations and taxes that California has. So if you're going to keep, what do they say, killing the goose that lays the golden egg, eventually you're going to be hungry.
And when you say fine or fee, normally that means you were speeding, your building didn't have a fire alarm, something like that. No. This wasn't your mistake.
Yeah, it's not like you did something wrong.
This was the state government who took out a loan from the federal government and couldn't pay. So they said that we messed up, so you write the check. And it was just going to be this one time, guys.
Yeah, just the one time. It was $150. Everybody agreed. They said, okay. Now, Toyota knew better. Toyota down in Torrance said, well, we're moving our headquarters to Plano, Texas. And Plano says, oh, sure, come on over. We'll give you this, we'll give you that, because they understand math. And the way math works is when you have an employment here, from the person who mows the front grass, that company, to the guy or gal that is the electrician to build out the building, to the person who has the restaurant down the street, who was struggling but now has hundreds of employees per day to come and eat at their restaurant, to the grocery stores that can now hire 2 extra people per shift to help box the groceries and bag the groceries and clean the shelves. Right? It's a rippling effect. And instead, my conversation, this is Tuesday, this week was yesterday and this morning. 5 potential of retirees, 5 soon-to-be retirees, are leaving the state. One of them says, listen, my kids, yesterday evening, says, listen, my kids, they're all great. The youngest one is 26, I think. And they said, listen, they're all grown. They all have their own lives. They live in different parts of Southern California, one up in the Bay Area. They said, listen, when I did the math, if I'm not going to see them every day anyway because they don't live down the street, I can see them a lot more purposefully by being outside of the state. So we've got to be careful, okay, guys? I harp on you for this because you're the only one that can protest and write these letters and send the emails and talk to your state legislature. Most of ours are conservative except Mr. Stern, who thinks, I don't know what planet he's come from with his math problems, but somehow he doesn't seem to understand math. But Mr. Stern seems to think that, we are indispensable and nobody would ever leave California.
Wasn't Henry Stern the one whose solution to teachers was making them exempt from income tax?
Making them exempt from state income tax. He says, well, you know how hard they work? Yeah, I get it. My dad used to be a produce man. You know how hard he worked? What are we going to do? My dog's bigger than your dog? Everybody works hard. How about you just be a better steward of the money so that people don't feel bad when they have to pay their state income tax? Oh, that's a novel idea. Be a better steward of the funds that were trusted to you so that you don't end up wasting them on silly things like, a bullet train that can't even go fast. You guys know that the bullet train, it doesn't even. You're paying your tax money for a bullet train, and in most of the part of the bullet train, it's impossible to hit the speeds that it's talking about because of the terrain. We're not flat. We're not flat like parts of China or the Midwest, or we're mountains and turns and canyons. You can't go those speeds. But Dianne Feinstein's husband took $100 million. $100 million. Our Democrat senator. She's already worth $300 million. And her husband's firm, he's the owner of the firm, took $100 million. Why aren't you guys protesting that? Why aren't you saying cronyism? Why aren't you saying, hey, let's go back and see, is there nobody else in the world that can do this without at least the appearance that somebody's being a little shady? I don't know. It's just me. We'll be back in just a minute as we continue. Hey, your pension, a lot of bad news coming down the pipe, guys. You think it's just the stock market. Stock market's going to go up and down, but you're going to have to protect your family's finances. 5 ways when we finish up here, and how your life can change if you're retiring or planning on retiring in 2018. We'll be back in just a minute. I'm Arif Halaby, the Total Financial Hour. Give us a call at 888-99-RETIRE, 888-99-RETIRE. That's a way to get a hold of us anytime. And that's Logan Halaby on your place for news, talk, and information, your hometown station. This is KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM. We'll be back.
City of Hope is a world leader in cancer research and treatment. And there's a City of Hope community practice location right here in Santa Clarita, eliminating a major barrier in the fight against cancer: distance to quality care. Santa Clarita benefits from City of Hope's compassionate care and renowned clinical expertise. Find out more at cityofhope.org/Santa Clarita or call 661-799-1999.
Hi, this is Wendy Hassenflug, yoga and wellness entrepreneur. I'm excited to share one of the best-kept secrets in Santa Clarita. Top Out Climbing Gym is one of my favorite places. Rock climbing is exceptional for building upper and lower body strength, and it improves your flexibility. Almost anyone can rock climb, and you don't have to be super fit to climb. You'll build strength and stamina while having fun at the same time. Get over to Top Out Climbing Gym in Center Point and challenge yourself to new heights.
Santa Clarita's hometown station.
Now FM 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
Thanks for listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Back to the show. Welcome back. Total Financial Solutions, the Safer Money Hour. A little bit of a rant today because I'm finding more and more clients. Guys, you got to realize when folks are building their retirement nest egg and they have $500,000, $2 million, lots of money they've spent their entire life, I think you want to be careful because just last week, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday last week, a wife and husband came into my office. They sat down. They'd saved their entire life. And they built up just about $1 million, just shy of $1 million. They'll probably have that by the summer when they're both going to retire. And we said, okay, let's take a look at it. And they had it in a place that was charging them fees that were substantial. Now you might say, gosh, Arif, nobody works for free. True statement. We don't, you don't, nobody does. But let's be clear on something. For us, our clients will earn between 0 and about 10, maybe 12%, right in that bucket. That's what we can tell them. It's kind of a guarantee, if you will. Listen, hey, you're not going to make more than this and not going to make more than that, less than that. The average over time, which is not a guarantee because nobody knows what happens in the future, but the average seems to be between 3 and 6% per year. Some years 0, some years 10. Take it, divide by 2, there's 5, right? So there's our average over time, 0 to 10, 0 to 12. Well, they come into the account. They didn't know that they had these fees and they didn't want them. Sometimes people say, I know I'm paying that and I'm okay with it. Wonderful. God bless you. Good luck. Nothing wrong with that. But in this particular folks' case, they were paying just over $3,000 a month in fees. Do you think that brokerage firm was happy when we called them and said, hey, can you tell us a little bit more about this account? Because we're filling out a little form. They know what's up. They know the gig is up. They know they've been caught. They know that probably they weren't clear enough. Because the client says, I don't see that on my statement. I see the $45 a year. And it says next to it waived. Because when you have more than a certain amount of money, they waive. So kind of them. They waived the $45. So we looked at it. We started doing some research by calling the company, found the phone number, called it up. We said, okay, tell us about it. It wasn't me making things up. It wasn't me coming from anywhere. It was very simple. We sat down, we went through the math, and it was just over $3,000 a month in fees. Now, if you're making $20,000 a month and you're paying $3,000, that's probably not a bad idea. It's probably not a bad gig.
Really, the biggest problem in this is always people don't know what they're getting. If you were to go to a car dealership and say, I'm going to be paying $500 a month, and they get to choose which car they give you, what kind of results do you think you're going to be having when you drive off that lot?
Yeah, it's like going to the car dealership with your checkbook open and just saying, hey, pick a car for me. Right? If you're not real clear, and you're all subject to the integrity of the broker, or in this case, the car salesperson. If they're doing a great job and Arif, I've known him for 10 years, that's all wonderful. But they all report to somebody who reports to somebody who couldn't care less about you because they don't know you. They don't know you from Adam. It doesn't matter. And so these folks had fees. They didn't want them. So we gave them choices. Here's some options to take some or part of your money out of the account. And they had a choice. And you have a choice too. Just because it's an old retirement account, a 401k or an IRA, doesn't mean it has to always stay in the market. Doesn't mean it has to stay at risk. If your money's at risk, that's when the brokers can charge a fee. If your money's not at risk, well, you may not make as much money, but you're not going to lose, and your brokers can't charge a fee. So maybe there's reasons why it's not always brought to your attention the exact amount of fee. It should be every month. Here's a statement. You've paid $3,274. You made $100. And you go, it's not good for me. I'm not willing to do it. Or you've paid $3,200 and you made $6,000. You could say, that's close. But what was funny was when we looked up the broker, we found out the broker was in junior high school, late elementary, junior high, when they were working and earning this money. And isn't it interesting that the bucket of dollars, the $900,000, the broker seems to think, now I can't get into his head, but their process seems to operate under the premise that you worked for this money your whole life, and Wall Street should be entitled to about the same amount of interest, or maybe half, right? $2 for you, $1 for me. That somehow there's a process that says they should be entitled to the same amount of interest that you're making. And you're the one that didn't buy that new car. You're the one that sacrificed and didn't take that fancy vacation, who flew coach instead of first class. And now today, why is that broker making the same amount of money? And he or she's the one flying in first class and buying that new car. All right. Logan, go ahead with a couple others.
The biggest problem always is that people, like we said, aren't knowing. But if you're paying for something and you get it, or what you pay makes sense with what you get, that's not a big deal. We're fine with that as long as we've got everyone on equal terms. They're meeting, they know what they're getting into. It's not the car dealership having free run with your checkbook or broker or whatever. As long as you know.
Well, here's part of what we do. As more and more people are retiring because they're turning that age, and because they expect or suspect that there may be some changes to the pension system. So as that process takes place, there should be more of a push for you to be responsible for yourself. And if that means, for a lot of people, they say, listen, Arif, I am good at what I do. I don't understand the market. About 50% of Americans actually have money in the stock market. Only about half. But I would venture to say that nearly everybody is affected by it. Because if you have a pension plan, if you have a family member that has a pension plan, where do you think that union pension plan that hates big business, where do you think they are putting your retirement funds? Right back into big business. So, if you are working for any job where there is a pension or a potential pension, part of those pension dollars might go into the stock market. So, There's all sorts of friends, family, if you're a taxpayer, and they may have to raise taxes to help offset the pension. Can you imagine what the headline news is going to look like when they come to you and they say, listen, I know you're a dad with 2 kids and your wife stays at home just trying to make ends meet so she could be the one to raise your children instead of having a nanny or daycare raise the kids. So I know you're struggling. You have 1 car. But listen, you're going to have to pay more money because the teacher who retired 4 years ago, her pension is suffering, and she's taking another trip to Fiji this year. So I get it that you're struggling living in an apartment with your 2 children, but you have to pay more in taxes. You don't tell me that that's going to be a problem? Class warfare at its best. It disappeared for a while, and then all of a sudden, the last 8 or 10 years, this whole I'm going to take from you because you have something I want, instead of I'm going to work better, work harder, build my business, my building up, right? Get stronger. Instead, I'm going to stay the same and tear you down. It's a different mindset. It didn't exist before about 8 years. Well, I mean, it did, but not the way it is. Institutional now. Go ahead, Logan. You have something else?
Yes. A big part of this is affecting Social Security, too, not just pensions. The current estimates are that in just 4 years, 2022, Social Security is going to start paying out more than it takes in. Given its $3 billion fund, that's going to last a whopping 14 years before suddenly the big fund that it has is not going to be there either.
Well, the $3 trillion.
$3 trillion.
With the T, yeah. Social Security's $3 trillion fund is nice. It's big. But unless they make a huge change, right now 2034 is the last time it's going to run out of money. That's with a happy estimate. Now we can make it go a little longer. If we continue to get a 3.5%, 4% growth, there are researchers that are coming up saying that in January we expect to have the first quarter of this year maybe as high as 4% growth. If we can do 4% growth, now I know those numbers don't mean a whole lot to you, but just to understand, that's a 300% increase in the growth compared to what we had on average over President Obama's 8 years. We averaged 1% growth per year, 1.2 per year. We've already tripled that in 2017. If we can continue or even make it a little bit more, get rid of some of the regulations, encourage companies to return, the differences that could make, we could absorb the higher minimum wage. We could absorb the ability for people to retire and sit at home and collect a paycheck, and then we got to sit and pay this guy, right? Now we're paying 2 people to collect a paycheck to do 1 person's job. And heaven forbid that job is not a job that makes widgets for $1 and sells them for $2. It's a government job. So that means we're taking taxpayer money to pay for 2 people to pay for 1 job, which means more people are going to be laid off unless we get significant growth because there isn't money. It's not a secret. It's not math. It's not politics. You have to make sure that you realize you're going to have to take care of your own retirement accounts. More and more people are using the growth in their real estate here in California. Listen, I have a friend who is in Texas, and she lives outside of Dallas. I made a joke. I said, a lot of my clients are moving to Texas, right outside of Dallas, where you are. And she said, Arif, the look on her face changed. She says, Arif, we don't want Californians coming to Texas. And I smiled. I said, She said, no, I'm serious. I said, what do you mean? She said, you guys come in and you buy houses for cash, and we can't afford them. The kids that grew up in this neighborhood can't afford to live there anymore. I've heard that from folks in Oregon. I've heard that from folks in Idaho. And now I've heard it from folks in Texas. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad. I just know that there's enough people moving to impact the mindset that way. You have to protect you and your family, and that's what Total Financial Solutions is all about. 888-99-RETIRE, 888-99-RETIRE. Give us a call if you have a question. I'm here for you every week at this time on AM 1220 KHTS and 98.1.